This is going to be a very short interview with Mr. Darren Cannell. He's the man who came up with Cyber School, created Cyber School, and made it what it is today. So I'm just going to ask a few very short questions, and I'll let you hear what he has to say. Mr. Cannell, what makes a good online course?
A good online course is good if it can't be taken off the computer. So what it has to do is it has to integrate the information that you find on the World Wide Web into the course material. If it does that effectively, if it uses the resources that are out there and some of the information that's out there, then it's a good online course. No matter what happens with an online course, the teacher is still a primary source of information, is still a primary element of a course that makes it work. So if you have a really good teacher, then you'll end up with a real good course. A real good teacher could teach out of a bag and still do a good job. But in order for the course to be successful, it has to be a good marriage between the technology, the internet, and the teacher.
Linear versus non-linear course delivery. Is there a preference? Is there one that's better than the other? Or what are your thoughts?
I think linear is the historical method of teaching courses, where everything is built on top of what you taught in the past. I think as we become more reliant on the internet and we get used to the way people surf and the way people view things on the internet and the way we tend to think, I think non-linear is a better way of actually progressing, because that's actually the way we think. We don't think in a logical path that goes from one point to the next. We sort of hop all over the place. And so it would be nice if we could create courses where students can go off on a tangent because they find something that interests them and still cover the curriculum and the material that's necessary in order to achieve the required material to receive the credit in that course. So I like the non-linear courses. I think they're harder for teachers to manage. I think they're harder to administrate. But I think they're better suited for the way students think and the way students will learn in the future, and lifelong learners tend to learn that way as well. And that's one of the things that people are always confounded with when they get on the internet and they're new to the internet, is the amount of information that's out there and how quickly you could be distracted from a task that you're on by some of the things you find. And I think we can use that to our advantage as teachers, is that there's so much information out there that we should allow the students to explore the information that interests them rather than the information that the teacher is interested in. And we tend to make our classes as teachers to be a subject, or the subject material that's presented is what I'm interested in. So if I'm interested in robots, then you're going to get a whole pile of stuff on robots in my class. And then we're forcing our opinions and our interests on the students, and I think it should be the other way around. So I like the non-linear courses.
And the last question. Recently, we moved to a one class per student at a time scenario. It wasn't always that way. Why did we move to that model?
Two reasons. One is because the cyber school is new, if we allow students to take 5 or 6 courses at one time, they're taking 5 or 6 spots up, and they're taking it up in something that is new and hasn't been tried yet. And so I have no problems with a student who has tried the course, has tried an online course, taking more than one. But if you haven't ever tried it before, it's important that you dedicate your time to one class. The other thing, from an educational point of view, it's really nice for a student to be able to focus on one subject area and put all their energy and all their time into the one subject area, rather than spending 1 hour on math and then 1 hour on history and 1 hour on English, which is the traditional model of education that we force students through, where the bell rings, you need to get up and move on to the next subject area. And it would be nice to get out of that factory model and sort of move into a model where if a student is interested in something, they can actually spend a long period of time on the same subject and immersing themselves in that subject. And they tend to do better at the subjects if they do it that way.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
That was Mr. Darren Cannell, the administrator of the Saskatoon Catholic Cyber School.